Hello and welcome to the radiotimes.com Doctor Who podcast. My name's Hugh and it's just me. I'm on my Todd this week. All my companions / TARDIS teammates are otherwise engaged. And also, this is kind of a special episode. So I'm just going to talk to you off the cuff on my own without anyone to bounce off. So this should be interesting. Yeah, so obviously the theme of this episode is regeneration. We know that's coming up for Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor. In autumn 2022. She's going to change into a different Doctor. We don't know who that is yet, but that should be interesting. We've speculated at length about that. But we're also regenerating here at the radiotimes.com Doctor Who podcast. So basically, we've been doing this weekly Doctor Who chats for a good while now. It will be about a year and a half, I think, since, series 12. And yeah, we've talked about all sorts. We've done episode reviews. We've done special previews. We've had interviews with some behind the scenes people. We've talked about the Doctor Who games, about like the Dalek spin-offs. And we've obviously gone back into the archive, looked at classic stuff, looked at the Doctor Who movie, looked at the history of the Master, things like that. We've basically, we've been doing it weekly for that long. So we've done over 100 episodes easily. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. So basically we're changing how we do this podcast. We're not going anywhere. We will be back in time for the new series, which will be in this autumn. So we'll have some announcements about exactly when we're coming back, but we're going to slightly change things up. We're going to get a bit fancier. And yeah, that does mean there'll be some slight changes in how we kind of bring this podcast to you. So in the meantime, it would be great if people wanted to carry on listening to us. We've had great feedback from you guys. Please do, head over to podcast platforms, your preferred podcast platform. Things like Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the ones. I'm sure you guys know better than most. We will be slightly less on YouTube if that's where you've been listening to this. So sorry about that, but there will be plenty of places where you can still listen. And yeah, we'll be back in a new format. We might have some, new features that we include, things like that, some more interviews. Yeah, one of the things I wanted to ask in this is there anything you guys would like to see in a new and revived Doctor Who podcast from us? Would you, do you like hearing myself and Morgan and, whoever else, Helen, Rob, chatting about the latest news and developments and signs looking back? Do you like the ones where we've had interviews with people? Would you like to see more of that? Do you like the early previews, the behind the scenes stuff? Or do you like when we kind of react to the big news that you guys all know about? Please let us know. Also, if there's any particular episodes you remember or, would like more of, please also let me know in the comments. This podcast is as much for you guys, well, much more for you guys than it is for us. So if there's things you like hearing, please let us know and we'll make sure to keep doing them or do more of it. Conversely, if there's anything you wish we'd shut up about, then, include that too, unless that thing is Doctor Who in general, because that would be a challenge on a dedicated Doctor Who podcast. As I say, we're regenerating in classic Doctor Who style. This will change, but it's not going to go anywhere. And yeah, it won't be a very long break. As I say, we'll be back for when the series comes back. So it'll be a few weeks probably. And yeah, and then it will just be better. We'll just have, more exciting stuff, some new fancier bits. And yeah, you'll still be hearing from us a lot. You'll be sick of us. So don't worry too much. And, if you're listening to this for the first time, you're like, what is he going on about? I've never heard this thing. There is a huge backlog of podcast episodes you can listen to. They're all on YouTube, on the Radio Times channel. And they're also on, as I mentioned, those podcast platforms earlier, Acast, Spotify, places like that. We have so many episodes that you can go back and listen to. Frankly, too many. Not really. Just enough, I think. Just enough. So, yeah, you can listen back and, relive those happy moments, and then let us know what you'd like to see. Anyway, I've rambled on for a while there. If there was real Doctor Who news right now, I would probably talk about that. I will say, obviously, it's good news that arachnids in the UK star Tanya Fear, who went missing in LA, she's been found physically unharmed, which is really great news. So, all the best to her and her family. And apart from that, it's been pretty quiet on the Doctor Who news front. There's been new clues in #FindTheDoctor, so you look out for that. And I'm sure there'll be some stuff coming out soon. There's a new interview with John Bishop in Doctor Who magazine, if you're so inclined to go and read that. I'm not going to spoil their cool interview by listing bits of it here, but there's some interesting stuff. He goes out of the TARDIS tin, as they say. So yeah, we will be back, as I say. I've said that about 6 times. And we will be here to talk about the new series as it comes out, for all the preview goodies that you've come to expect. And we'll probably also be there at the end to dissect and look ahead to the New Year's Day special, which is very exciting. Yeah, it's a really exciting time for Doctor Who. It would be a terrible time for us to stop doing this Doctor Who podcast, so don't worry, we won't. There's so much to talk about, and yeah, I'm very excited to chat about it. Anyway, that's been enough of me yammering on. As ever, I've sort of said where you can listen to this podcast, but in case you missed it, we have loads of Doctor Who content on radiotimes.com. You can go and check us out there, or you can go on YouTube, check out old editions of this podcast, or whatever. If there's any feedback you want to give, then yeah, comment on YouTube or tweet us at Radio Times. That's probably the best way for us to see it, those two options. Yeah, and yeah, we really would appreciate any feedback you can give on what you would like to see more of, ideally. Anyway, that's been this week's podcast. Sorry, it's been a bit short and a bit me talking about us just not doing this podcast for a bit, but that's the way it goes. We will be back soon. Until then, thank you very much for listening. I didn't come up with a terrible last minute joke this time, so I'll just say goodbye.